Yeah. So, good evening, everyone. And I'll be your host for today's session on behalf of ICA India. I'm Almas. And as you all know, we have really good Canadian universities with us. So, take the maximum of this advantage today and ask all your questions with them. I've already shared the format with the representatives. I'll be repeating that for the attendees today. So we will start with the short introduction from the university representatives, and they will give you all the necessary details, followed by the Q&A session where you will ask the questions to the representatives. You can ask the questions through Q&A or chat box, or you can raise your virtual hand for that. And so now moving on to the introductions, I'll call Mr. Ashwin from York University to start.
Hi, my name is Ashwin Duggi and I'm the Regional Recruitment Manager for India with York University. York, a brief introduction about the university. I won't take very long though. Do I share the slides? How does this work, Alma?
No.
No, okay.
You have to share your screen if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Can we?
This gives you all time to prepare. Oops. Sorry, one moment.
Yeah, sure. There's an option called share screen on your panel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So that's my email address if in case you need to reach me, and that's me with the York mascot. He's called Yo. Okay, this is very confusing for me. Anyways, I'll talk about the location of York University. We are located in Toronto. We are about 30 minutes away from the downtown of Toronto. We have our own subway stations and a bus stop, so students can come from anywhere. The city of Toronto, as you all know, is one of the largest cities in Canada and the most populous one as well. It's also the commercial hub of Canada. It's also the most multicultural city. Everybody knows that Canada is an immigration country and quite multicultural, but Toronto is considered the most multicultural city in all of Canada. It's said that more than 50% of people who live in Toronto are born outside of Canada, leave alone outside of the province itself. This means that you get a lot of diversity amongst people, amongst classrooms, and also wherever you go. A lot of variety with food, culture, sporting activities, and it's also a very, very beautiful city. I moved to Canada myself 2 years ago, and I've been living in Toronto, and I love the way the city is. It's very green, it's lush, it's beautiful. I can go on a hike or a trek if I want, just like 5 minutes away from my house. That's the beauty of the city. It's very well curated that way for everyone to live and enjoy the city. It's also called a city lover's dream because it's got everything. Like I said, it's got nature, but it also has got a great lifestyle in terms of nightlife, restaurants and cafes and bars, as well as great shopping. Because it is considered, again, the retail capital of Canada as well. The same ethos kind of transfers back to the York University as well. We are hugely multicultural. We have about 7,800 international students from about 180 countries, including about 1,200 students from India studying with us. So pretty hugely multicultural. We also have two campuses. Our main campus is called the Keele campus. The images that you can see right now are from Keele campus. It's a 450-acre campus, which is, again, like I said, 30 minutes away from downtown Toronto. We have about 8 residence facilities, about 4,000 students live in residences. We have about 60 different restaurants and cafes on campus, along with guaranteed accommodation for international students. As I mentioned earlier, we have direct access to downtown Toronto. We have our own subway station. The boomerang-shaped building that you see on the screen is the subway station at York University, and rightfully so, it's called York University Subway Station. You can go further north as well from the subway. It takes you to a place called Vaughan, and from there you can go further north of Toronto and Ontario. So that's one of the advantages as well. The other campus is called Glendon campus, and it's a smaller campus with around 2,800 students. It's a bilingual campus, which means that students have to study their program in both English and French. Now, considering Canada is a bilingual country, it's a huge advantage for many people who want to work in, say, government after they graduate, and having that French language proficiency makes a lot of difference in how you're perceived as a future candidate for jobs and employment. So many students do study over there, but it has a limited choice of subjects. Students can take courses in either campuses. So there is a shuttle bus which runs between both the campuses, and it takes about 30 minutes. And it's free for students and staff to take the shuttle bus. So some of the faculties that we have are, of course, business school. We have education, science, engineering, and liberal arts and professional studies. I won't take too much of your time, just touching on the admissions requirement. For the Indian curriculum, we require anywhere between 60 to 85%, and prerequisite subjects like maths, physics, and chemistry have to be over 55%. That's the general overview of the entry requirements, but there are courses like the BBA and engineering and BCom, which require higher percentage. You can reach out to me for more information on that. IB is typically around 30 IB points. Again, for BBA and is about 36 IB points. We don't require any additional tests, no SATs, ACTs, or IELTS as well. We waive that requirements for you. We're also a mid-range university in our costing. We are anywhere between $27,000 to $35,000. The pricing is slightly outdated. We need to update those slides. So you can reach out to me if you have any more questions about that. Thank you very much. That's me. I'll stop the screen share.
Thank you, Ashwin. Thank you very much. So next up is Ms. Niharika from the University of Windsor. I would like to request all the delegates to please be a bit louder.
Oh, all right. We'll try. Okay. I hope everybody can see the screen.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. This is Niharika, and I represent the University of Windsor. The university is located in Ontario province of Canada. We were established in 1954. We are a medium-sized university offering 200 plus majors and minors across 9 different faculties. So you can choose interdisciplinary programs, you can do double majors, there are master's degrees also on offer. The university's USPs, as I can think of right now, is the state-of-the-art teaching facilities that we have, the diversity in terms of the students, the faculty, the staff that is there at the university. The medium size of the university helps us to focus on each and every student, so the professors can give you individual attention, since it is the classroom sizes are not too huge. On an average, it is on a ratio of 29:1. Affordability wise, if you compare it with other universities of the same range, we are pretty affordable. Tuition fee ranges from 25,000 Canadian dollars and goes up to 30,000 Canadian dollars per annum. The students have the opportunities to work on or off campus. There are co-ops embedded into the program. Students can utilize their time while doing co-ops, earn some extra money too. In terms of support, we provide exceptional international student support. Our services are very good. Students have themselves ranked us very highly, and we try and give you a lot of support, starting from the application process to the visa process, to registration, to orientations, and finally getting co-ops and getting placed later on. These are my details on your screen. In case anybody needs to get in touch with me, you can contact me on weekdays between 10 to 6. These are my email address and the other coordinates, the telephone number. So happy to answer all questions regarding the situation that we are in at the moment.
Thank you, Niharika.
That's it from my end. Thank you.
Thank you, Niharika. Now I would like to invite Ms. Deepa from Queen's University. Over to you, Deepa.
Right. Thank you so much, Almaz. I will just quickly share my screen.
Yep.
I hope you can see the screen now.
Yes.
And yeah, and I'm loud and clear.
Yes.
Perfect. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Deepa, and I represent Queen's University in India. Queen's, as you may be aware of or looking at now, is actually one of the oldest public university of Canada. It was founded in the year 1841, and we've completed over 176 years as a public university in Canada. Queen's is located in the city of Kingston, which was the first capital of Canada, the first federal capital. If you talk about its proximity to the major cities like Toronto, it's about 2 hours 20 minutes drivable distance from Toronto. We are also kind of equidistant from cities like Ottawa. Montreal is about 3 hours. We are right on the borders, so you can reach the New York State in about 45 minutes drive. Kingston is consistently ranked as one of the top 5 university towns in the world and considered very safe and secure to be in. We are also a 10 minutes walk to the downtown area in Kingston, so pretty much in the heart of the city. Talking about some stats, but are more or less, I would like to define Queen's as a mid-sized public university with student population of about 25,000 plus students. We have about 16,500 students studying at the undergrad level and rest at the graduate and the postdoctoral. We are quite popular for areas such as business, be it MBA programs or Bachelors of Commerce offered by the Smith School of Business, or our health sciences degrees, or arts and sciences, engineering. We are also quite popular as one of the very, very top ranked universities for medicine programs. So Maclean's has been consistently ranking us in the top 3 universities of Canada for health and medicine. Commerce Society is the top rated commerce society in Canada, and Smith School of Business is again very highly ranked in Canada among the top 5 business schools. Talking about some of the other facts and figures, are 11% of the population at the undergrad level is, which is now actually 15%, is international. Our 27% of the population comes from variety of countries at the graduate level. We are consistently ranked overall as the top 10 universities of Canada, and we have about 150,000 alumni across the world. 95% of the student comes from outside the city of Kingston, which again, like Toronto, makes us very multicultural, very diverse in terms of our population. I'll straight away take you to one of the major questions that everyone asked about scholarships, and we have variety of values of scholarships offered to the student, but I really like to highlight the Principal India Scholarship, which is valued $20,000. Which is only open to the citizens of India, and there are about 35 of those scholarships awarded every year just to the Indian students. I like to talk about more in detail if you have questions for me later on, but that's about from my side as of now, and please feel free to ask any questions if you have at the later part of the event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you very much. Now I would like to invite Garima from Lakehead University to take on from here.
Great, thank you so much. I'll quickly share the presentation. Yep. I hope the screen is pretty visible.
Yes, it is visible.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Garima, the Senior Advisor for Lakehead University in India. I'd certainly like to thank ICAE for giving a platform to connect with students who aspire to study abroad and counselors who have been working tirelessly to support and educate their students. To share some quick insights of Lakehead University, we are a public funded university in the heart of province, in the heart of Orillia. There are 2 campuses of the university. One is Thunder Bay and another one is Orillia. Also amongst the top 2 universities in Ontario, top 10 in Canada, and number 1 for research for the last 5 years consecutively in a row. In terms of the location, I'll quickly, one second. Okay. So in terms of the location, the Aurelia campus is about 30 minutes away from Toronto by road, and Thunder Bay campus, which is the signature campus of the university, is about an hour and a half by flight from Toronto. And it caters to all undergraduate students, undergraduate program, masters, as well as the PhD options available. So this gives a quick look of how do we look at the Thunder Bay campus. This spreads over 250-acre land. We have excellent state-of-the-art facilities available for students. Aurelia, again, has pretty much the same setup. It is though much smaller in size. It's about 70-acre land, and it is primarily the undergraduate, university. So we offer only undergraduate programs so far at the Aurelia campus. In terms of the ranking, one second, there seems to be, So in terms of the ranking, as I briefly stated, that we are amongst the top 10 in Canada, top 2 in Ontario, and number 1 for research for the last 5 years consecutively in a row. So students, especially looking to study something into science and engineering, could certainly look at Lakehead as one of the prime institutions in Canada. We're also very distinctive in terms of the number of students in each class. We have about 15:1 ratio, which means that not only you're known by your first name, but you're also make that strong connection with the professors and the peers in the classroom. One of the advantages, features of Lakehead University is the readiness of the program. So majority of our undergraduate programs are typically for 3 to 4 years. If a student is taking up a 4-year program, which is an honors degree, often come with a component of co-op. And that's another name for internship. And these internships are very strategically placed, that there are about 4 to 5 internships available in programs like engineering, science, as well as management. And these internships are absolutely supported by the student central team as well as the faculty on campus. Now, this gives an option to see the number of programs we have at an undergraduate level. There are about 56 different options available for students to choose from. Something which is very, very useful to know, that we have both September as well as January intake, and we continue to accept applications because of COVID. The deadline has been extended, and we continue to accept applications for September this year as well as January 2021. The system is very, very simple. You could go online or take the help of your counselor to submit an application for the university. One second. So this, something which is again very advantageous, and I'm sure that a lot of international students are interested to know about the scholarships. We are being very, very, generous, and we have extraordinary educational scholarships available for meritorious students, and it ranges from 4,000 to 7,500. Absolutely. And these scholarships are recurring scholarships. So based on your performance, you could get the benefit every year. We are a mid-sized institution, and the fee ranges from 26,000 to 32,000 per annum. And whatever the scholarship component comes to the student, they could actually deduct that from the year fees. We also have on-campus accommodation available for international students at both the campuses, and that is absolutely within the college, within the university premises. In terms of the entry requirements, we would accept a percentage from 60 to 85 to start with, but students seeking scholarships should have more than 75% onwards. And there are different categories to define scholarship for international students. We have several facilities for students on campus, whether it's cafeteria or student-run centers available. So we are truly a university which is for the students and helping to have excellent career opportunities as they progress in their degree course. So I am sharing my contact details here, as well as I would certainly encourage you to follow us on different social media page. We are a very student-centric institution, and every day from Monday to Friday, there are a lot of activities, especially organized for international students, a different channel, and that will be the right opportunity for you not only to connect with a student central team, but we also have Friday as Faculty Friday, and you get to hear direct from the dean or the senior professors at the university. I'm sharing my contact details here on the last slide. If you have any more questions, I'm just a call as well as an email away. Thank you so much, and I look forward to answering your questions as we progress with the presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So next up is Mr. Divya Kumar from University of Ottawa. Over to you, Divya.
Give me a minute till I bring up the presentation on the screen. Perfect. Can you see the presentation?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, it's fine. Great. Hi, good evening, everyone. I would first like to thank ICAE for organizing this event and the various delegates who are present here today. I hope I'm loud and clear, or do you want me to speak a little louder?
Yeah, you can be a bit louder.
Okay, so I'll just bring the mic near to my mouth. So that's a bit better. It's better now, right?
Yeah, much better.
Okay, so Ottawa does not need an introduction. We all know that Ottawa is the capital of Canada. It is right in the center, the heart of Canada. We have the video that you're seeing, the welcome video that you're seeing is the university campus. Okay, so I'm not going to talk much about myself, but just to give you a brief of what I'll be talking today. The outline of today's presentation is Canada. I'll talk a bit about Ottawa, of course. I will talk about how to choose a program, how you can customize the program and your experience, and the services that we offer. Now, this is where Ottawa is located. So if you see it on the map, Ottawa is close to 450 kilometers from Toronto. We are close to 4.5 hours drive from Toronto, 2.5 hours from Montreal, close to 4 hours from Quebec. You can fly almost 1.5 hours to Boston and close to 2.5 hours to New York. Okay, the population of Ottawa is close to 37 million. We are the 5th largest city in Canada. 22% of the Canadians, if you know, were born outside of Canada. So it's truly a diverse and a very welcoming nation. Now, Canada has 2 official languages. One is French, the other is English. And Ottawa is truly bilingual. I will come to that later. Here is a small video of Ottawa. So Ottawa looks beautiful throughout the year. In fact, a lot of people say that Canada is cold, but in Ottawa we celebrate winter. The festival that we celebrate during winter is called Winterlude. That's to keep the loneliness away. And it's a beautiful city and very welcoming and very diverse. I think it's one of the most colorful cities in Canada. It is also the most educated city in the whole of North America. So you'll find the most number of PhD doctors and engineers, most of them in Ottawa. It is also very diverse because being the capital, it has various embassies located in Ottawa. There are various embassies located in Ottawa, and due to which you'll find people from all field, all walks of life, and from different countries. Now, the University of Ottawa is a publicly funded university. We started in the year 1848. That means we are older than Canada. There are close to 42,000 students on campus. of which close to 7,000 or 17% are international students. So we are truly an international university and very diverse. We are ranked among the top 10 universities in Canada and among the top 2% in the world. In fact, if you look at the Times Higher ranking, we were ranked 141 in the world. We have close to 1,100 teaching and research laboratories and 5 state-of-the-art facilities, one of which I really would want to mention is the Advanced Quantum Physics Laboratory, which also has a particle accelerator for somebody who wants to study more in-depth physics or quantum physics. This is how the campus looks like. I hope the video is clear. It's a beautiful campus. What you just saw was the Rideau Canal. The entire Rideau Canal freezes during winters and it becomes the biggest ice skating rink. It's fun to skate on it. These are the various faculties. So if you see, I'll just show you on the map where we are and how big we are. Okay, that's the main campus. So if you see, we are right in the heart of the city. It's a downtown campus. Pivot Market, which is the biggest market, is next to it. Sandy Hills, which accommodate most of our population stays in Sandy Hills. We have a small Lee campus, which is 30 minutes away from the main campus. The Parliament is a 15-minute walk from the campus. In fact, the Prime Minister's house is a 15-minute walk from the campus. Just in case you want to go and say hi to him, please feel free when you're not. Now, this is how the programs look like. I'll not go too deep into it, but in Ottawa, at University of Ottawa, you can do a 4 years honors. You can also do an honors with a minor or an option. You can do 2 disciplines at the same time. So if you wish to do, say, for example, mathematics and economics at the same time, you can also do that. You can customize your program to your liking. So for example, you're doing engineering and you wish to also pursue a bit of management and understand the concepts of management, or you wish to do something, you want to start a business, so you want to do entrepreneurial management, you can also do that if you wish to, along with engineering. Now these are our direct entry faculties. We have the Faculty of Arts, Faculty of Management, which is also called as the Telfer School of Management. Telfer is a Triple Crown accredited institute. We also have a Faculty of Social Sciences, a Faculty of Science, a Faculty of Health Sciences, and a Faculty of Engineering. Now, under the Faculty of Arts, we have Fine Arts. So somebody who's interested in Fine Arts, we are a good university to be, Humanities and Languages. I'll not go through all the programs because that will take a lot of time. So I'll just allow you to go through it. The Telfer School of Management. The Telfer School of Management is among the top 1% business schools in the world. It's a Triple Crown accredited institute, which means that our education is not only recognized in Canada, but it's recognized across the world. These are the courses under business that we have. We have this, the biggest faculty that we have is the Faculty of Social Sciences. In fact, almost 20% of our population studies social sciences. We are amongst the best in political science because of being located in the capital. The cooperate in the social sciences faculty is 98%, which is among the best in the world. These are the programs that fall under social sciences, largely economics, human relations, politics, and societies. Here is the Faculty of Engineering. It's one of the best, as I told you, for somebody who wishes to do engineering. We are a research university, so a lot of your studies goes into research. In fact, students have the option of doing research from second year onwards, even at an undergraduate level. These are the programs broadly under engineering, and there are specializations which you could choose under each program. the Faculty of Science for somebody who wishes to pursue pure sciences. We have biotechnology. A lot of students in India ask for biotechnology, biopharmaceutical sciences, biomedical sciences. Of course, mathematics and economics, geology, ophthalmic medical technology, physics and chemistry. We also have health sciences. Our employment rate in health sciences is 95%, which is among the highest in Canada. Under health sciences, we'll have, broadly, we'll have courses under food and nutrition sciences, health sciences, human kinetics, integrated food sciences, and nursing. Now, after your first degree, you can also pursue law at the University of Ottawa, education, and other graduate studies. Now, our application is very simple. You have to apply through OUAC, which is the common application in Ontario, which I'm sure you're aware of. You have to fill the 105 form. Now, the requirements for University of Ottawa is very simple. The general requirements are 70% in your grade 12th and an IELTS with 6.5 overall and 6.5 in each module. Please make sure that though these are the general requirements, we have never admitted anybody into any of our programs with less than 75%. In fact, some of our engineering programs and sciences require more than 90% for admissions. So make sure that you're working hard and getting good scores. We have residences on campus. We can talk about that in person when we meet, or you can just email me and I can give you those details. We have a French immersion program. Now, the beauty about studying a French immersion program is that if you come into a French immersion program, you pay the local fee, which is 1/3 the international fee. That's a huge scholarship that you get. That's almost a scholarship of 120,000 Canadian dollars. Right? I'm so sorry. I think okay. Now there are multiple scholarships available. I think for scholarships, because they're very complicated the way you apply to them, you can always get in touch with me on my email ID and I'll try to help you with those. But we have scholarships ranging between 4,000 Canadian dollars all the way up to 70,000 Canadian dollars. And they're all merit-based. These are how the residences look like. Okay, I'll not take much of your time. I don't think I have so much of time. We have the second largest co-op in Canada, which means that there is a work-study sequence that you can follow when you are in Ottawa. And our co-op programs are some of the best in Canada. You get to work, so our co-op is for 16 months. So you get to work 16 months during your 4 years tenure that you study at University of Ottawa. Okay, some of the videos. Now, Kannada, which is the IT hub, just to let you know, Ottawa is also the IT hub of Canada. And Kannada, which is where you'll find most of the top 50 organizations in the world, they are located in Kannada. So somebody who wants to get into IT or engineering fields will have a lot of jobs in this area. I will not talk about international exchanges right now. We have a lot of them. There's a lot of volunteers, clubs, and activities that you can do when you're in Ottawa. Sports and recreation. These are the competitive sports clubs that we have at Ottawa. I think we have almost all of them. Our alumni have also gone on to win the Olympic medals. So we are not only known for education, but we are also known for sports. Here is the video of the student experience. I'll just finish this and I think I'll end my presentation because I had 5 minutes and I've already exceeded that time.
Your slides are not visible, Divya.
They're not visible?
No.
Oh.
I mean, I can see it, but
okay.
It's showing your first slide only.
Oops, I'm so sorry. Is it visible now?
Yes, yes, it is visible.
Okay, okay. I'll just start from the beginning. It's a fun video and I don't want the students to miss it. This is the university building. This is the administrative building that you just saw, which was built in 1848. It's one of the oldest buildings in Canada as well. Almas, how much time do I have?
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So when you're not studying, you can do a lot of stuff. But I strongly suggest that you are going there to study, and you should concentrate more on studies, because that is what would matter when you finish university. Okay. I'll just move on to the next slide. This is me. I'm actually the senior advisor for South Asia and the Middle East. My email ID is mentioned there, dkumar2@ottawa.ca. You can alternatively send emails to india@ottawa.ca. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you very much. Now I would like to ask Ms. Sita from University of Waterloo take on from here.
Yeah, so if Divya can, so just give me a second.
I'm done. I'm so sorry.
No. Just give me a second. So am I visible and audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So I am the last university today, so I'll make sure I don't take too much time and give you as much time as possible for Q&A, because I guess you have more questions, because most of the information that I'm going to share is available on our website. So to quickly run through University of Waterloo, this is a map which gives you an idea of where we are located. We're very close to the city of Toronto, about 100 kilometers to the west of the Toronto city. We are flanked by two other cities, which are called Kitchener and Cambridge. Together, Waterloo, Kitchener, and Cambridge make the Silicon Valley of Canada. And that's primarily because most of the tech or the tech hub exists in these three cities. And that's one of the reasons why Google Canada is headquartered in the city of Waterloo. City of Waterloo is a very, very small city with about 500,000 people, primarily a student-centric city. So you will find almost 75% of the people who live there under the age of 75, under the age of 25, because most of them are students either in the undergrad, grad, or PhD programs. This are a lot of, statistics about our university. Yes, we have been ranked #1 for graduate employment and employment satisfaction. And I'll tell you why in my next slides. But these are some of the facts and figures. Again, you can find them online. Most of them are from the Maclean's. And if you're interested in the Times higher education ranking, we were ranked #24, especially for computer science and mathematics. I'll take a few minutes just to tell you the faculties that we have. We are a very small university, just about 56 years old. So we only have 6 faculties on campus, which is environment science, applied health sciences, arts, engineering, and math. I specifically work for the faculty of math as a recruitment officer. So mostly if you have questions related to mathematics or computer science, I am your go-to person in India. But of course, I can help you with the other 5 faculties as well. So I'll give you a snapshot of each faculty, just quickly run through to see what kind of programs you have in each faculty. Applied health sciences is, as the name says, is related to health sciences. So if you're interested in the human body and want to do something related to the human body, students who want to ultimately get into nursing or medicine also apply to some of these programs. The first 3 programs require mathematics and the rest don't require mathematics. The next faculty is the Faculty of Arts. Even though we're primarily known as a very STEM-centric school, we do have a very large faculty
Faculty of Arts with about 45 different majors. You can quickly run through them online. And the most popular program, of course, is the Arts and Business program, which most of the Indian students apply for that program because it's a combination of a major in any of the humanities programs along with some business courses, which is a huge hit in India. The next faculty is the Faculty of Engineering. We have 15 different majors, from the traditional ones like civil and mechanical engineering to the more contemporary and new ones like biomedical engineering, software engineering, and architectural engineering. If you want to know more about these programs, you can write to me and I will give you more details about these. Some of the most popular programs in the Faculty of Engineering are mechatronics and software engineering. Next is the Faculty of Environment. So if you're one of those people who want to make a difference to your community or to the earth in general, you can take up any of our courses. We have courses in environmental business. Of course, we have environment, resource, and sustainability. And we also have environmental engineering, which is actually featured in the engineering slide. So you can choose any of these programs under the environment faculty. Next faculty is the Faculty of Mathematics. And like I said before, I'm from the Faculty of Math. It is the largest math faculty in North America. It's a dedicated math faculty, unlike other universities where math is generally a department under the Faculty of Science or Faculty of Art. We have a dedicated math faculty, and the School of Computing comes under the Faculty of Math. We offer 45 different majors, and you can choose any of the majors listed here. And if you love mathematics, University of Waterloo is like Disneyland for you. The next faculty and the last faculty I'm going to talk about is the Faculty of Science. We have been in the news very recently. In 2018, one of our professors won the Nobel Prize in physics. And we are proud not just about the fact that she won a Nobel Prize, but also because it's the first woman in 54 years to win a Nobel Prize in science. I'll talk a little bit about co-op because that is our USP. We offer 6 terms of cooperative education. Co-op is slightly different from internships. It is built into your curriculum, basically, so it's intertwined with your study terms. And these facts about it, so you have 6 work terms. You study 1 term, which is 4 months, and then you work for 4 months, which is the next term. We have already partnered with over 7,000 employers across 60 countries. You have a minimum of 4 work terms, which is mostly for the Faculty of Arts, and 6 work terms for Faculty of Engineering, Math, and Computer Science. This is a figure about how much you can expect to earn during this period, which is anywhere between $40,000 to $90,000. And of course, the biggest advantage of a co-op program is the fact that it's experiential learning. You develop your skills for the future, you network, and you get job ready by the time you graduate. If you want to know more about co-op, please do write to me or call me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you more about co-op. This is an idea about the fees. We are anywhere between $34,000 to $54,000, depending on the program you apply for. We offer automatic scholarships ranging from $1,000 to $5,000 to all students who meet the criteria of 90% or higher. Then there are faculty-based scholarships which you have to apply to your faculty, and those range from $10,000 to $40,000 Canadian dollars, depending on the faculty you apply for. Now, I'll quickly talk a little bit about our admission requirements. We are some of our programs are very, very competitive. This time, the computer science requirement was about 97% if you're in a CBSE or a ISE program. We don't ask for IELTS or TOEFL. We only look at your predicted grades. We don't require SATs or ATs. So just focus on your, whatever board you're studying, whether it's Cambridge, it's IB, CBSE or ISE. We just look for grades. And then of course, we also value extracurricular activities. You will have to write about it after applying, and based on how good your profile is, we combine both of that, and then scholarships as well as admissions depend on that. So this is the last slide, which shows my email address. You can write to me, and that's the website from where you can download a soft copy of our brochure, or you can find out all about our scholarships, tuition fees, admission requirements, and everything. Thank you so much. And I'll pass it on to Almas so she can take the question and answers. Thanks, Almas.
Thank you, Sita. Thank you very much. As we are done with the all university introductions, now I invite all the students and the counselors to please ask the questions. You can raise your virtual hand or you can send the questions to Q&A box. I can see a lot of questions have already been answered. And please write which university the question is for. So this is the question from an anonymous attendee. When can we start applying for universities which don't require an OUAC 105? So any one of you can answer this.
I think everyone requires it. OUAC.
No, we don't require. Lakehead does not require that. Our application can be done through our portal directly.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Somebody's asked, is IELTS required for Waterloo? No, it's not required. We request you, please don't send it.
So next question is for all the universities. Uday Chaudhary wants to know what are the basic grades that of A levels required by each university. So you can answer one by one.
So shall I go first?
Yeah, any one of you can go first.
Minimum 3 A-level subjects, and depending on the program, nothing less than a B, but if you're applying for a computer science or an engineer, then as many A stars, the better your chances of admission.
Can I go next? We require 3 A levels as well.
Please, Krita. Questions, push.
We require 3 A levels as well. The average depends on the program. Most programs require a C average, but there is programs like BBA which require an A. Computer sciences and engineering require an average of B. But we do have a facility on our website where you can go and select GCE as your qualification, and it shows you the exact entry requirements per program. So you don't have to actually speculate about what the entry requirement is, but you can actually see the exact requirement. So I recommend that you do that for York University. It's daytime in India, in Canada, if you didn't realize, because the sun is directly on my eyes. I'm sorry about that.
Totally. We'll go next. We require 5 passes on the general certificate with a minimum of C.
For Queens, we need 3 A-level subjects, and obviously, like other universities, the requirement varies from program to program. The most competitive programs like commerce, health sciences, and engineering ask for 2 A's and a B. Rest of the programs, we can accept 2 B's and an A, nothing below that.
Okay, for University of Ottawa, because the requirement keeps on changing year on year, it also changes from program to program. So please, visit our website for knowing what the real requirements are. However, we require 2 A's and 3 AS level to be able to apply to university. And the minimum grade is B.
Thank you. So Karima, you are...
Yes, so for Lakehead, we require a minimum grade of C, but again, our requirement keeps changing from course to course. I would encourage everybody to visit the website to check the individual requirements. Thank you.
Thank you. So this is for University of Waterloo. Is IELTS required for Waterloo?
No. Unless you are from a state board, none of the other boards require IELTS.
And I would just like to add here, Almaz, and that's primarily the case with majority of the universities in Canada. If a student has started from an English medium institution, most of us do not require, unless you're going for a program like nursing or any specific course, but primarily engineering, management and science programs do not require.
Thank you, Garima. So this is for University of Ottawa. I want to know about scholarships given by Ottawa University.
Okay, perfect. So we have the prestigious scholarships which go like the president, the vice chancellor, the chancellor. There are also automatic scholarships. So anybody scoring above 92%, especially for engineering, would get around 10,000 Canadian dollars per year. You also have the general scholarships of up to 5,000 Canadian dollars per year, but they're all merit based. I think those are the scholarships that are available. We have a scholarships and bursaries page which I would encourage all of you to visit. It has most of the information. there are certain new scholarships which we've launched today for specifically for Indian students. So I would also encourage you to have a look at that.
Thank you, Divya. So this is for York University. Is maths required to pursue BBA in York University?
100%, absolutely. Math is a primary requirement for all the business-related programs. So while we're on the topic of mathematics, I would also like to, there have been a few questions about the virtual high school maths program and the acceptance of those for many universities. Yes, the virtual high school maths that the students do from the Ontario high school curriculum are accepted across the board, and pretty much every university does take them. But the thing to remember is, the important thing to remember is that the Ontario high school curriculum has different math programs. There is math functions, there's math calculus, math vectors, math for university. So depending on the program that they want to do, they need to choose the math accordingly. A safe bet to do always with the math would be to take math functions, which is the highest level of mathematics with the Ontario high school curriculum. And that tends to be a safer bet when they want to go into a business related program or choose another program. And I don't think I'm overstepping over here by saying that should be fine for pretty much every university that's there on the panel today. But it is important that you choose your math accordingly.
Thank you, Ashwin.
One thing, we don't accept virtual high school math, not for any of our engineering, computer science, math. We need high school math, no virtual
I
stuff.
knew I was overstepping.
Yeah. Not even our biology programs we won't accept.
Thank you, Sita. Thank you for your inputs. This is my request to all the students who are writing the questions. Please do mention the university you want to ask the question to. Don't leave open questions. So this is for University of Ottawa again. Do you have cricket as sports? And can you tell whether academic achievements are important for scholarships?
Varsity sports, we have cricket clubs, of course, and cricket is played openly at the governor's house. So in case you want to visit the governor's house, we have a large cricket ground there where cricket is played. But cricket not as a varsity sport, but of course clubs you can be a part of.
Thank you, Dev. So there's one anonymous attendee. He or she wants to ask, if you have given SAT anyways and have good scores in it, do you have any advantage? It's an open question for all the universities.
Okay, SAT is not really required. It is not mandatory, but you can self-report, of course, if you wish to. And yes, there are certain advantages of taking the SAT. So if you've taken them, please self-report. So it is not mandatory to have the SAT on.
So they do not have any advantage if they have given SAT.
They do, but it's not a huge advantage because admissions are generally based on. I mean, I'm sure Karima is waiting to speak, but for Ottawa, I speak only for Ottawa.
Yeah.
SAT is generally considered, but academics is considered over and above SAT.
If any one of you want to give any inputs, yeah, sure.
So Almaz, this is like a general thumb rule for majority of, again, the Canadian institutions, that we all are very academic oriented. So we majorly look at the 10th, 11th and 12th grade as their, regular performance. And that's what it is. But SAT is primarily for the US universities. So here's a big contrast between the US and the Canadian, requirements. Yeah.
Thank you, Garima. To all the delegates here, if you want to answer the questions, you can type in your answers also, because I can see a lot of open questions. So you can take the questions directly from the Q&A box also. And I am reading out the questions if they have mentioned any university name here. So
this is about textile engineering. No, Waterloo does not offer textile engineering.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have advanced materials engineering, just in case you wish to pursue.
Thank you.
There is a question from Hina Akhtar that's primarily for Lakehead University, and she wanted to ask about if we have Indian student scholarship. Now, all our scholarships are international scholarships. So these are open for all students coming not only from India, but Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, all regions. Besides that, we also have some departmental scholarships. And these scholarships, the international scholarship ranges from $4,000 to $7,500. depending upon the percentage students get in their grade 12th. And as I mentioned during the presentation also, these are recurring scholarships. So based on your performance year-wise, you could get the same benefit year on. Plus an additional advantage of getting scholarship from the departments. So this is like, a win-win situation for the students. So if they're maintaining the regular percentage, plus an additional benefit they get from this specific department. Yeah.
Thank you, Garima. Thank you very much. So there's one question. Could you please brief us about Principals India scholarships?
I think that's for me. Principal Excellence Scholarship is offered by Queen's specifically for the citizens of India. I mean, you being a citizen of India is eligible for that particular category of scholarship. The value is $20,000 spread over first 2 years of your undergrad degree. 10,000 per annum deducted from your tuition fees. The criteria to a successful candidate, I would rather say, is somebody who's demonstrating high academic achievements throughout the high school, but particularly in class 10th and 12th. And projected scores in class 12 should be at least 95% and above. Along with that, we have, if the student is applying for commerce program, we have mandatory essays which the student needs to submit, and they're kind of gone through very, very carefully before awarding scholarship, a Principal Excellence Scholarship for commerce at Queen's. But besides that, other programs, I mean, you should be just academically very high, very sound, in order to be considered for this particular scholarship. We have one more scholarship which is even higher value, which is $36,000, $9,000 per annum spread over 4 years of your undergrad degree. That's again based upon very, very high academic achievements. So in the nutshell, you just need to be very high, scoring. You should be scoring very, very high throughout your high school.
Thank you, Deepa.
University of Windsor also has a President's Renewable Excellence Scholarship, and it is for 16,000 Canadian dollars. And as Deepa mentioned, you have to be very high scoring, above 95%, to be able to qualify for that scholarship.
Thank you, Niharika.
Now there is this question regarding when will the applications open for fall 21. So just to give the audience a brief outview here. For Laken and I think majority of the university, the admission would open from October, and most of us required the grade 10th, 11th, as well as the predicted or the midterm results to assess the application, right? So this is primarily for the entire audience.
The universities who follow the OUAC, it opens around mid-September. So Windsor follows the OUAC process, and the applications open around 16th or 17th of September, and they close by the 1st of March for fall 2021.
Almas, do you like to take this very important question that's coming for an average tuition fees and charges for a computer science engineering program? Okay. Maybe I can start that at Queen's, the tuition fees per annum for engineering courses is roughly about $47,000. I mean, my other colleagues can answer there.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
For York University, engineering is $34,500 for 2020. We don't know the tuition fees for 2021, but it should be around the same mark.
Thank you, Ashwin.
For Laken, it's Niharika, you go first.
For Windsor, it's around 30,000 Canadian dollars per annum.
For Laken, it's pretty much the same. That's about 30,000 Canadian dollars. That's for the engineering, but the computer science comes under the science stream, and that's about $26,000 per annum.
Thank you, Sita.
Yeah, I think I'm the most expensive person. About $54,700 this year. I don't know about what will happen for 2020. Approximately 55.
Okay, so yeah, it's the same 54,000 this year. I wouldn't know. Per annum. I really wouldn't know what it would be for next year, but I hope it'll be. I hope it is the same. However, it's generally an increase of anything between 5%, and last year it was 15%. So you don't know, but for this year it's 54,000.
Thank you.
Can I just add that the fees that mentioned is for 2020, and The 2021 fee structure is not announced, although there is a deduction in the fees for commerce students. So we are just keeping our fingers crossed that maybe other faculties would also reduce the fees a little.
Thank you, Deepa. You can type in your answers in Q&A box if you want to take any question here. And I'm just reading the question which are important, which can be actually taken from all the universities here. You can type in all your answers in Q&A box. I can see a lot of questions have already been answered. So you can actually take all the questions from there.
I think most of us are answering those questions.
Yeah, they are talking about bank loans. I don't think you can get a bank loan in Canada until you reach there. So no bank loans. And if y'all give bank loans, they're saying, are any bank loans available? You have to take it in India.
Yeah. You need to have an admit from the university to start your procedure, and that's it. And then again, as Sita said, that you can only avail that facility from an Indian bank.
Thank you very much. So
there is another general question about what scores do they need when they have to apply to these universities. So we at UWindsor are looking at 10th, 11th and 12th predicted grades. You can start your application even before your predicted grades come and upload them later when in January, whenever you get your results. But the application can start anytime and the pending documents can be uploaded later on.
So students also want to know what are the profile requirements for the students when they are uploading their application. What are the requirements for the profile?
See, each university would have, slabs or entry requirements or entry points. For us, we ask for generally a 65% minimum. And depending on the faculty they are applying, the course-wise requirements change. So it ranges between 65 to 70% at UWindsor.
At Queen's, we are looking for, we work on predictive scores, minimum academic averages, and in class 12 for arts and sciences and computing, we are looking for 80 to 85%. For commerce, we are looking for 90 plus. For engineering, for health sciences, we are looking again for 90 plus in terms of CBSE and ISC requirements. For IB, for arts and sciences, computing, anywhere between predictive 32 to 34. 32 would be great. For commerce, minimum predictives of 34. But that's when I say minimum doesn't makes you really a strong candidate. Higher the better. So for health sciences and for engineering, 34 and above. So that's like a broad kind of, if I have to demark in terms of your requirements in class 12th. 10th is absolutely mandatory to submit. 11th is optional. So somebody has actually asked a question if I have scored bad in 11th. So good news is that 11th is optional. If you have not scored very well in 11th, don't upload or don't submit your transcript. And just in case you have been equally consistent in your 11th grade as well, I strongly recommend you to upload 11th because it shows the consistency of your performance and help you in scholarship.
If your graph is going up, that is good for you.
That's good for you.
Okay. So for Lakehead, it's the admission starts with a 65% in grade 12. But for the scholarship, a student should have a minimum of 75%. Now here, a lot of students have this confusion about whether they could get the scholarship on the predicted scores or with the final grades. To get the scholarship, you have to have a minimum 75% as a final grade in 12. We don't assess application for scholarship, particularly on predicted scores. But for Lakehead, 11th is compulsory. But again, we won't be very biased in terms of if the performance graph has gone down. But it's just in order to see the consistency that you've been a regular student. We would like to see the 10th, 11th, either the predicted or the midterms to submit an application. Thank you.
There's one more question for you, Lakehead. Is there a co-op program for BA Psychology, and is it a public or private institution?
So we are a public funded institution. Unfortunately, we do not have co-op for psychology like a regular co-op available, but there are a lot of field placements options which starts right after the first year. So field placements mean that they are usually not paid, but you get equal amount of exposure and understanding of the of the market or the industries, and they are absolutely 100% supported by the department. And the good thing about psychology is that, again, you have a choice of doing a major or minor. You could club with several different specializations in psychology.
Thank you, Garima. So, Devya, this is for you. Is mathematics result acceptable for NOIS?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Devya. This is for Queen's University. What are majors and minors?
So we have major minors in our largest faculty of arts and sciences. There are I think about 35 plus social sciences, humanities and arts related majors and minors. We have similar variety of courses available in our pure sciences, applied sciences, which also falls under arts and sciences as a faculty. So right from economics, psychology, sociology, political studies, global development studies. We have various social sciences majors available. And I think as like this set of Canadian universities, we are more or less similar in our offering. So you'll find similar kind of subject areas available with most of the colleagues in their universities, which happen to be here. In pure sciences, I would like to highlight that we have an option available for astrophysics, and we are quite pioneer in astrophysics because it's headed by a gentleman who's been a Nobel laureate in the field of astrophysics at Queen's. So which falls under astronomy and physics as an undergrad majors. You can specialize into astrophysics. We also has a combination of physics and mathematics. We have a combination of psychology and biology as as double majors available. So all these, there are so many options. I've put my email ID on the chat box, guys. Please feel free to contact, and I'll be happy to share the list with you for all the undergrad majors and minors available at Queen's.
This is for University of Waterloo. What are the programs for a PCB student?
No math. Pretty much. If you want to stick to science, then there's nothing. But if you want to go to the Faculty of Arts and take on humanities programs, then yes, you can. But no, nothing we can do if you don't have math or a biology related.
If I can add to that.
Because we have one more question. That's an open question. Programs for students who have pursued biology and not maths in the high school. So you can, I think you can all answer this question.
So at York University, the Faculty of Sciences, we do offer students undeclared majors, and students can start with undeclared majors in sciences, and then there is a particular course that they do while they're studying, and then they can pretty much switch into, say, a BSc in biology or biochemistry, biophysics, depending on where they're interested in. That kind of takes care of the math component. The only thing to remember is that we don't guarantee an offer letter at the stage of admission because we look at the application holistically, and it's a faculty decision more than an admissions decision, and we need to send it across to the faculty for them to make that decision. Predominantly, we've seen that if a student has a consistently good performance, one, as an overall average, and two, a good percentage in year 10 mathematics, tend to get an offer letter. Thank you.
Anyone of you if you want to add to this?
Yeah, so for Lakehead, again, we offered a BSc General Science with major undecided, and it's one of the most popular programs at the Lakehead University. Just like York, we also, offer in such a way that student will have to choose math in order to pursue a specialization, and we offered 15 different categories under this BSc General Science. So we have applied life sciences, bioinformatics, neuroscience, bioinformatics, applied life sciences, even to a level of maths, computer science. Psychology could also be added. So we have 15 different options for students to choose from, if at all they have PCB. So, so PCB students do not have to be disheartened. Honestly, there are a lot of options available at our university. Thank you.
So there's one question for York and Queen's. What is the tuition fees for the accounting program?
York University accounting program is categorized under the BCom program, which is Bachelor of Commerce in the Faculty of Liberal Arts and Professional Studies. For the 2020 intake, the tuition fees is around $32,400 a year. which is 30 credits. Thank you.
Deepa.
At Queen's, we have Bachelor's of Commerce again, which offers focus areas as accounting. This year, the fee structure was $50,000, which has now been reduced to $47,000 for 2021. So great news.
Thank you, Deepa. So this is for Ottawa. Do University of Ottawa offer BBA?
Okay, we do have business courses, and you can of course choose specializations. We've got almost every specialization that you can think of under business.
Thank you, Liv. So this is an open question for all of you. Like for University of USA, we need to build profile. Do we need for Canadian universities? I don't know what does that mean. A lot of questions about profiles are coming in. So any one of you can give. Yeah, Ashwin.
Okay. For the most part, you don't need to build profiles, but there are a few programs, for example, in arts, media, design kind of programs and business school related programs. Very few programs require you to have. So it's not like the common application. I think the students are trying to refer back to common apps. No, it doesn't work quite like that. If there is an additional component of a profile building, the university will reach out to you asking you to complete the supplementary application component is what we call it in most cases. So yeah, no. So mostly you apply with your predicted grades and your year 9, 10, whatever grades you have and mark sheets you have. And it's not part of the application. That's predominantly, and I don't know if I'm again overstepping. This is my problem.
Thank you, Ashwin.
Can I just add that for profile building, I believe the students are keen to know the requirements of things like letter of recommendations and, you know, essays and stuff. I don't know about others, but only for commerce at Queen's, we are looking for supplementary essays, which is mandatory, and a personal statement of experience, without which your application will not be assessed. So essay writing is essential besides your, you know, marks and everything else.
There's one more question for you, Deepa. Can humanities student take up psychology and bio as double majors without maths?
The psychology and biology is a BS major, science major, and math is a prerequisite. So we need all four for psychology and biology, which is physics, 2 science, math, and English. But if you want to do a BA psychology, then as a humanities student, you are please most welcome to apply. Any combination of subjects works for us for BA programs. BS needs maths.
Thank you, Deepa. Ashwin, this is for you, I guess, York University. Do you offer MBA or BBA? And also, what's the tuition fee for the same?
Oh, we do offer BBA, we do offer MBA, probably the most popular programs at York University and the most competitive programs as well. The BBA program is priced around 34,000 Canadian dollars a year. We take very few international students for the program, and there is a supplementary application component for the program as well. The deadlines for that are early February, so make sure that you apply as soon as possible. As an alternative, we always give students an offer for BCom as well as a standby, because like I said, it's a very limited entry program. The MBA program is also a 2-year program. We have a 1+1 where you can do 1 year in Hyderabad campus and then do 1 year at the Schulich School of Business at York University. But you can also do 2 years at York University. And I think that is priced around 58 Canadian a year or something like that. I don't recruit for MBA, unfortunately, so I don't have more details on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashwin. So this is for Lakehead. What does a 75% equate to in A levels?
Oh, 1 second. Give me a minute.
I think that'll be a C.
That will be a B. A B, yeah. Yeah. But again, I would really appreciate and advise. I've shared my contact details there in the chat. Why don't you share your details with me, or feel free to book a Zoom appointment. I've shared the link as well. Let's discuss that, you know, once I'll see your documents and understand your profile better.
Thank you, Garima. So there's one anonymous attendee. He wants to know how many IB points you should have as a whole minimum. So I think each one of you can answer.
I
UWindsor, we are looking at a minimum of 24 IB points, but each faculty has specific requirements. So BCom engineering will have a higher requirement.
Okay, so the minimum points required are 30. Of course, engineering and management would have a higher requirement.
At Queen's, we are obviously the projection needs to be higher, but what we put on the offer letter for varies from courses to courses. For arts and sciences and for computing, we put 28. For all other courses, we put 30.
Thank you, Deepa.
Should I answer that?
Yeah, Sita. Yeah, go on, Sita. Yeah.
Again, it's program based. So if you're applying for any of the competitive programs, then don't apply if you have anything less than a 36. CS has gone up to 41 out of 42. I don't know about the other universities, but I think the IB is calculated out of 42 and not 45. So make sure they're high. And there's somebody who's written, Waterloo, do you provide co-op for BA Psychology? Yes, we do. We do have co-op for BA Psychology.
Thank you, Sita. Yes, Ashwin.
For York University, the minimum IB requirement for predominantly most courses will be 30. Engineering is about 32, BBA is 36, and BCom is 32 as well. Thank you.
Basically, all competitive programs have to be 36 or higher.
Yeah, and for Lakehead, we require a 24, but for the scholarship, we need a minimum of 28.
Okay. Thank you very much. So there's one more question for you. Co-curricular activities in Lakehead University. This is the only question they have. They haven't written the full question. So you can elaborate on co-curricular activities.
So this is something which is very interesting and unique about our institution is we are absolutely a place for anyone and everyone. We look after students very well. In terms of the extracurricular activities, obviously we know that ice hockey is the national sport of the country, so you kind of get to have that as an option, but you have a lot of sports within the university, something like volleyball, table tennis, badminton, and we certainly have started with the cricket team very recently. Besides that, we also organize a lot of workshops with the help of Students' Union team. We also take our students for a lot of recreational activities. So it's a close-knit community we have at the university. That's about it. Thank you.
So this is for each one of you. Ishita Kapoor wants to know, can we expect any special offers or concessions due to COVID situation?
No. We have been answering that question constantly. The only special attention you can expect from universities is the fact that we are working day in and day out to bring our courses online and convert things that would happen very organically on a daily basis without a second thought into projecting that online. And that itself is causing a huge deal of, the sheer amount of work that is going in the back of the scenes is something that you will never be able to fathom. So that is the only thing that we are really working and striving towards. Many of the universities over here, and I speak for everyone collectively over here, is the fact that we have moved the courses for summer online and they've taken off very smoothly, and students are able to pursue their programs and courses from the luxury of their house, the comfort of their house, or wherever they are. And that itself is a huge achievement for all of us at this point. And we continue to strive towards that. And that is the only thing that we are able to guarantee at this point. If anybody else wants to add, that this is my opinion.
Yeah, I just wanted to add there, Ashwin, restructuring of these programs into an online mode has seen a lot of investment from all universities. All of us are going online, and particularly our university has invested around $1.5 million into restructuring these programs to help you, not wasting any time sitting at home. We are all going online. September is happening for everybody. As far as the situation is concerned, it is an unprecedented situation, and universities are going out of their way to extend deadlines. We have most of the universities have extended deadlines to applications. We have extended deadlines to deposits. We have extended deadlines to documentation submission. So we are trying to keep everybody's interest in mind. But as far as discounts are concerned, I don't think any of our universities would be able to give that, because there's a lot of investment and work going on, like Ashwin was saying, behind the scenes.
Yeah, and just to add what Niharika has said, that we are using the same expertise and attention, right, in order to deliver that program in the comfort of their house. What Lakehead has been doing is certainly offering application waivers, but only to academically oriented students. So students who have more than 75 or 80% in their 12 could certainly expect an application waiver. So we usually charge a $135 application. So that is being waived off, just that's it. But otherwise, there has been no concession as such. And we have been very, very robust in our online system. Thank you.
Thank you, Garima. So this is
okay, the only concession.
Yeah.
No, it's okay.
Go on.
Go on,
Yeah.
I was about to ask a question.
There, in fact, of course, all universities here are working hard, to get studies online, and it's quite challenging for all of us. Well, the only concession that some of the universities, including University of Ottawa, has done is that we haven't increased our tuition. We've kept our tuition this year. We've blocked our tuition to whatever it was last year. In fact, every year due to inflation, we increase it between 2 to 5%. We will not be charging ancillary fees, which of course is not a big amount, but it does add up to your tuition. So that's a discount that you will get. Our engineering faculty has come out with is giving $5,000 scholarship to all its students who were admitted this year. So I think that's another concession that we've given. I think Ottawa is going out of the way to help students. There are many universities which I know of in US and back in Canada who had asked students to leave campus when COVID-19 broke, whereas University of Ottawa, allowed our students to stay back and stay back on campus in residences. We are helping them. In fact, we were providing them food to their rooms. So that was, that, and universities generally don't do that. So we've gone out of our way to help students. I think in this challenging times, both students and the universities understand that, we have to be proactive and work towards, bettering your career and, making you more comfortable and safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Divya. So there's one more question for you and Queen's University. What does 80% equate to in IB?
That's an interesting one. I don't know, but really depends on the program. I've categorically mentioned if a program requires 80% minimum in case of CBSE and ISC, that for that same program, we are looking for a predictives of minimum 32 IB and above. And again, I would kind of reinforce that minimum is minimum. That doesn't make you competitive. Higher, the better in terms of your chances of getting in. Please understand, all of these universities are present here, and all other universities are Canada. Doesn't go on filling up, a lot of students, and we don't, expand our class sizes. We still have same number of places every year to recruit and fill up. That means, and every year we have all of us are witnessing a very, very high amount of applications. So for each place, we have at least 10 or to 15 more students to who are going who kind of have their similar candidature for that particular place in a course. So I would suggest anyone who's looking for a great institution in Canada, please keep your performance up, please keep your scores up, because that's like really the most important thing when you're applying to Canada. Although we like to say we have a holistic admission process, but we are really focused on marks.
Thank you, Deepa. So on that note, I'll take the last question for the day. And yes, Sita.
There is a question from somebody called Rahul Tandon. What does it mean when you say, "Are you need blind"? Can you talk to him, Almas? Is he visually challenged?
No. I think when he says need blind, it means need-based scholarships are not available. I think that's what it means.
I don't think any Canadian university offers.
That's a very United States concept where they have the need-based scholarship. In Canada, the need-based scholarships is predominantly prevalent for the Canadian citizens, not so much for international students. Yes, so that is how.
The only thing is the need-based scholarships, the student looking for need-based scholarship, the closest is the work-study programs. I'm sure all the universities offer a work-study program, wherein if you have financial issues and you can apply for a work-study program, and if you are selected, you are given preference for an on-campus job to kind of help you managing your living expenses. That happens in Queens, by the way.
Thank you, Deepa.
So just to add here,
Yeah.
So at Lakehead, if a student is performing really well in their year one, they would get a monthly breakup of their fees also. So not necessarily the students would have to pay the year-long fees or semester-wise fees. They could actually reach out to the accounts, the finance department, to get a specific a structure made for them so that they could pay the fees in easy installments also. So besides giving extra benefits, and this is something which we also extend to our international students. There has been a regular question asked by Bhavya Acharya with respect to the on-campus accommodation. Yes, majority of the universities, and in fact including Lakehead, we have an on-campus accommodation at both the campuses, whether it's Aurelia or Thunder Bay, and the accommodation is pretty much within the campus, so just about a minute or two walk from the different faculties. Yeah.
Thank you, Garima. So because of the time limitations, we cannot take all the questions. So this is the general question I'm taking, and this is the last question for the day. What's the balance of academics versus extracurriculars in the selection process? Approximate percentage would help in admission process. So anyone and everyone can answer this question, I guess, and then we'll just sign off.
This circles back again to the fact that we don't require predominantly for most of our programs a statement of purpose or a personal letter. I think it circles back to that. So no, we basically require students to submit their academic profile, and then for a few programs, depending on which university and which program they're applying, there will be a supplementary application or an essay component, and that is when they submit that. But there is no percentage division as such. If there is an essay component involved, then it usually becomes a 50-50%, right? So it's grades plus the essay. It's not either or that ways. So it's a very difficult question to answer. It depends on the program.
So, Niharika, do you want to add on to this thing?
I think all of us are looking at academic merit. Extracurricular, SOPs, they don't matter. As long as you have a good percentage, you should be able to get an offer from one of the universities in Canada.
I think for our competitive programs, we do give some weightage to it. But again, like she said, marks is the first thing for you to qualify, even to consider your extracurriculars. So first thing, get your grades.
Most universities will have a supplementary application for the BCom or business related programs. And the others look at academic merit.
Yep. For commerce only, it's essays, 50% weightage to essays, 50% to marks. Rest others, it's purely your academic performance.
Yeah, like some of our programs have interviews. All engineering, we do interviews also, like a video interview. So there are a lot of aspects to it. It's not just one blanket rule for all programs.
Devi, do you want to add on something?
No, I think the question has been answered. Not really, thank you. But then I think, I mean, for us, if you, other than the academics, if you're applying to scholarships, we certainly look at co-curricular activities. But that's scholarships. For admissions, no, not really. It's only academics.
Almas, could you please share our contact details with all the participants so they are able to reach out to us?
Definitely. I'll be sharing all the details with all of you.
Yeah.
And I would like to thank every one of you for joining in, all the representatives here. And I hope today's session have cleared most of the doubt of the students. They are actually most suffered people right now, because they don't know, they don't have any clarity of everything, what is going on, what will be the future like, and how they need to approach this situation. So I hope this session would have helped them. And thank you everyone for joining in, and stay home, stay safe. Goodbye for now. And I'll be sharing all the details. And if you have more doubts, you can write to us at nazir@icindia.com, and we will definitely forward all your questions to the delegates. Please write the university name you want the question to be asked to, and we will definitely forward your questions to them. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for now.
Yeah, thank
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care,
Bye.
be safe, be healthy, and hope to meet all of you all very soon.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone. Take care.